Hello, everybody, and welcome to Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. I am your host, BMR. Hope you all had a great Christmas holiday. I know I did. Joining me for the very first time, it seems, in months, Studio B from Texas, Texas Front Porch. Please subscribe on YouTube, Tex. And also joining me, my other brilliant co-host from the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. Please subscribe, Brandi from Missouri. If this is your first time here, please subscribe to Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, Texas Front Porch, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. You can find us on iHeartRadio, KPNL Radio, and Spreaker. A couple weeks ago now, we dropped Spreaker. We didn't drop them. We're independently podcasting on Spreaker, and you can find us wherever podcasts are found, whatever your platform is. There's about 15 of them, so go check that out. If you like what we do here across the board, the Super Chat is open. Super Chat is always a great way to help support what we do around here. In the archives, the Super Thanks is also available, should you care. And don't forget, you can become a BMR pirate. Join up. And you can also become a Tex Front Porcher. You can join the Blondes and Booze. They also have memberships available across the board. So please check that out when you go over to their channels. Find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever social media platforms are found. And also, speaking about where we all can be found, Mondays is, of course, Texas Front Porch, 7 Central, 8 o'clock in the East with Tex and the lovely Brandi. Tuesday nights is Beyond BMR with myself and the lovely Krista, 8 Central, 9 in the East. Wednesdays on Texas Front Porch is the Diva Dimension. Check out Miss Diva, 9 Central, 10 in the East. Thursday is right back here with Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, 1 p.m. in the East. Don't really know if I'm going to be rolling with the co-host, as once again, Tex is going to be taking a sabbatical because of the crazy job that man has. I don't know how he does it. I really don't. Thursday nights is the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast. You can find them 8 Central, 9 in the East. And if you need more woo with the booze, of course, you can get them Friday nights, 8 Central, 9 in the East. And, Tex and Danielle Diva, if you're into true crime, 3 p.m. Easternly, right? That's not the right way. 2 Central. Infamous Minds, Saturday. Check out Tex and, of course, the lovely Danielle Diva. With that being said, I also have to extend my thanks to everybody that's bought my book, especially over this past holiday. Thank you for that. Bigfoot, Mr. Rob presents True Cryptid Encounters, Book 1. It's found on Amazon. And for those of you that bought it, thank you. Those that are going to buy it shortly with all your Christmas dough, thank you. Don't forget, it's all about analytics these days. So when Amazon comes a-calling, please leave a review. That does help promote sales of the book. Also, I'm proud to announce June 7th and 8th, the 2024 Alabama Bigfoot Conference. Yes, that's right. We've got an outstanding lineup. The Master of Ceremonies, Tex Wesson. He's our host. We've got Barton Nunnally, Daryl Denton, the Blondes and the Booze, Jason McLean, Greg Ogles, Martin Groves, and of course, yours truly, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. Tickets $30 online, $35 at the door at the Anniston Performing Arts Center. I hope you all can make it. With that being said, I'm going to bring up my fantastic co-hosts. My enemy coming Saturday, because the Cowboys take on the Lions in the big game Saturday. Everybody tune in and root for the Lions. Tex Weston. And also,
yes,
my other great buddy, Brandi, who could care less about the NFL, but I know she's going to root where my heart is, and she's going to root for the Lions for the rest of the season. The beautiful Brandi.
Hi, everybody. Yes, I'm going to root for the Lions. Michigan is my home state.
Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
Because I know Mr. Tex, and I know everybody. I'm excited, and we talked a little sports in the beginning. Most of you aren't sports fans, but I have to get my release behind the mic every now. I'll be talking Lions until they lose on every show, so you're gonna have to put up with me for just a couple minutes. So, Tex, first of all, welcome back. We haven't seen you, which seems to be forever, with that work life you got going on.
Man, I tell you, it's a never ending. I'll call it a journey. How about we?
Yeah, it is quite the journey.
Rob. First off,
yes, Tex. Oh, I just noticed something. Very, okay, very good. Big and bold and red.
I noticed, when we were coming on that the background, my name was you were up in lights. It was a brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob.
Yes.
With Tex. So I took it on myself.
Yeah, you did, didn't you?
Because you told me there wasn't room for my name, and you had to squeeze it in there. So I did you a favor, and
thank you.
And I'll show it to you. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Look at that. I do like that. Yeah.
I fixed that little issue for you.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That is like really cool, Tex. See, you're more, how should I say, you have artistic talents.
Of
course, I notice how my name is all little now. It's not even highlighted. It's your straight.
Well, I didn't have room.
It's your straight block. Yeah, and I noticed even the font is just your basic, boring, straight block font. Okay,
Well, Tex, put up the other one. Put up the other one. So if nobody knows what we're talking about, so people can get a perspective on what Rob had up there, we need to see that.
Yeah, go ahead, Tex. Can you do that, Tex, or do you want me to do it?
Well, I'll have to add it as
Oh, I can do it. I can do it. Hang on, I got it right out here. Now this is what everybody okay, this is what I had for me and Tex for here it is. Okay, hang on. Now I gotta remove you two, right? Okay, hang on. Wrong with that?
You can't talk and have us drop backstage and everybody
okay, well, I was talking. So yeah, everybody. So I had Tex. His name was on there. His picture, and I have to admit it was kind of small, and I didn't, but it's not because I think. Well, actually, yeah, there we go. Yeah. I do like that picture. That brings us back a couple years back. That was pretty sweet. And thank you, Be Kind. That's funny, Rob. I don't blame Tex for the little edit. I love you too, Be Kind.
Well, because he started off when we were sitting backstage talking about how he's about this big on your banner there. And I said, Tex, I was co-hosting with you for a year, and you finally got me on there. But finally, he didn't even have my name little. It wasn't even little. Nothing.
But see, I made it right, though. And when I made it right in a big way.
Yes, you did. But it just took you a year.
I felt that because I realized what was going on, and I realized what an integral part of the show that you are. And And I got to, what really reminded me of it, honestly, was I think we had Jason on one time, and I played the old intro.
You did?
And Jason was in the intro, and I'm like, this ain't right. So I got to do something to at least kind of correct this little problem. And in my defense, I did do a new intro.
You did.
And we haven't, and I know this is one that we haven't done yet. We haven't put it together yet. The one I wrote the script for.
Right.
So we need to sit down and do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Need to get that done. But, I mean, it was so funny because I'm just sitting there listening to you talk about how little your name was, just how little it was. And I said, well, at least your little name is on there.
Yeah. Well, and you had a good point.
But Tex, I tell you what, I'm going to combat the small text and the small picture of text, because not too long ago, it was large text. Then text went and had something done. And now the large text is now becoming, thank you so much, No.
Thank you, No.
And now small text. It's now small text because, number one, and I mean this honestly, not being jovial, you look fantastic. I'm proud of you. What you had to go through. I can't wait to meet you. Well, I've met you several times, but I can't wait to see you in person again and take some pictures, because maybe in the next photo bomb, when we're standing side by side, we'll be we'll even it up a little bit. So
yeah.
Oh man, I really mean that. I'm proud of you. You look great, and I don't know that I would consider that, but we're not going to talk into the downside of that, because the health-wise, you're going to be great. You'll be more nimble in the field. You don't have to use that walking stick, which, by the way, later on this evening, we'll be raffling off. And I'll let you speak on that before we get to show really rolling time.
Yeah, we are at 7 p.m. Central tonight. We're going to do a members only over on the front porch for all the porchers, all the cool kids. And we're giving away two things. We're giving away a Bigfoot thermometer, which I have around here somewhere. I keep leaving it over there. But it's about this big, and it's an indoor-outdoor thermometer. It's made out of metal. It's got Bigfoot on it and everything. And we're going to be giving that away. And Pops, as I lovingly call him, Gary Spike Sr., custom made a walking stick, and I just got it in today. And we're going to unbox it on the show tonight, and we're going to also be giving that away. So if you haven't become a porcher, go over there and become a porcher so you can be a part of that.
Yeah.
Just so you know, after the first year, we are really close to 5,000 subscribers. Really, really close, like 150 away. And I was going to say that if we hit 5,000, I would do an open giveaway. It'd be something, really good. And I don't care if we make 5,000 or not. I'm still going to do it in January. I'm going to do it at the end of January. And after we come back from a conference that we're going to in San Antonio, which me, Krista, Brandi, and Jason will be at. And that is the Lone Star
Paracon. Yes.
Right. Well, it's not in San Antonio. It's right out San Antonio. With the Kling brothers are hosting. Jason Hawes is going to be there. Is Lyle or Ken going to be there? I can't remember. Lyle's going to be there. I wouldn't be surprised if Ken and Ann show up.
Right. And a couple of guys from Skinwalker Ranch are going to be there.
Yeah. It's going to be a good time.
Yeah. It's in Schertz, Texas, by the way.
Which last year I went. Me and a buddy of mine, Keith, went, and I ended up in the freaking ER.
Yes, you
So
did.
yeah, so that was yeah. But we're having a better year this year. It's going to be a better year for 24 for everybody because honestly, folks, I think for everybody, 23 has been a little rough across the board. And prayers and positive energy work, folks. It's going to be a better year. But after that conference, which is the 27th, the end of January, we're going to come back and we're going to do an open giveaway. You don't have to be a member and everything, because I understand times are rough and everybody can't afford, to be a member, but they shouldn't be punished for that. I don't think, and that's kind of the way I look at it. I don't know. It's weird. I've talked to everybody and everybody's like, well, it's not like that. Well, I'm sorry. I'm wired that way. And it drives my team members crazy. But yeah, that's what we're going to do. I'll come back with some gear from the conference and stuff, and we'll get some other stuff away. But yeah, if you want to be a part of tonight's giveaway, go there, and it's like $3 a month, And,
Yeah,
$2.99. Yeah,
yep,
it's $2.99. And Tex, you are a rule breaker. We all know that you're a rule breaker. But we only need 150 more to reach that 5,000. So we're going to try hard to get there.
Texas front porch, and Blinds and Booze are getting close to 2,000.
Yep.
Texas front porch close to 5. I think
we're like 108 away, like 108 maybe.
Yeah. So you're both, those are monumental achievements coming up for everybody. And everybody, not a cheap point on joining our groups. Texas $2.99. If you join up today, you get a chance to win well over $50 of merchandise. And of course, the Blondes and Booze have a group. I have a group. It's all $2.99, and it's pretty cool. It's just, you get a little something we give to you despite you're paying for it. I don't view it that way. It's because I think a lot of people like that, and they like to be recognized. And we have the best chat rooms. We have the best audiences. Even people that don't come and chat that listen. There's many people that listen.
Thank you, Spillenty.
Now the podcast. Excellent, Spillenty. Thank you for that. So yes, become a porcher tonight.
Oh, and something else that we just came across the board. Thank you, Squatching. That YouTube has given the creators something new. I haven't looked into it yet. I'm going to tonight, or actually, as soon as I get off the show, I think I will.
Okay.
We are allowed to gift 1 month memberships to, I think, 5 people per month as creators. And I'm going to be looking into that. And
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, and some of you don't be surprised if you get a membership out of the blue to become a porcher. It costs you for a month.
Yep. So great.
So, yeah.
No, that's a great thing. So we all have memberships. We all have our channels. Please subscribe. Texas Front Porch, the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, Bigfoot Mission Rob, and our friends Bart Nunnally in Humanoids, and of course Donnie Cho says stuff. Those are the ones I support and recommend. So Tex, it's like been a while. Now I named this show Monsters and Mayhem. A couple things I want to talk about because at the end of the year, this will be the last show in 2023, I do believe, for a brunch. And I want to talk a little bit about monsters versus cryptids. Are cryptids, a lot of people perceive cryptids as monsters. I mean, I kind of do, but some people are totally against that. Brandi's had experiences now with her investigations. Tex, certainly you have. I've seen them. And, and there's 2 ways we can go with this. Either they are monsters or they're just things that want to be left alone. And maybe we're the monsters that are hunting these things down. We don't hunt them, but people are just so gung-ho to get a body or just to get that 15 or an hour of fame with a photo. Sometimes, on both, you look at both sides of the coin. Sometimes I think me might be the predators, and maybe that's not fair to cryptids. Again, I'm not suggesting any of these things are friendly, and I'm not suggesting we trust them. But is it more because people are just interested in being scared or getting a thrill, or is it because people just want to do honest research like we do to find out the mystery behind them? And what we could do a little later, Tex, because you did not have a chance to look at the rendition of my creature by Sibylla.
Right.
And if you like, you can give if I can pull that up to start the show, and you can give me your analysis, because quite frankly, I haven't seen you in a while. So
Yeah.
you want to start with that?
Sure.
I'm just going to pull up the side. I'm going to pull the individual on each, and then the side by sides, and then you can go ahead and offer your comment, suggestions, or whatever. Brandi did this with me. I know kind of Brandi's thoughts, but of course, Brandi always chime in, of course. So, Tex, this, and for everybody, if this might be your first time seeing this, this is what I saw on June 15th, 2018, my Bigfoot encounter, which again, I'm unsure if it was even Bigfoot. This is the humanoid Down syndrome looking person, if you will, that I saw standing from the shoreline. The up close facial features. Here we go.
Okay.
So that is the humanoid. Kind of looks, I don't know, Tex, what's your first thought of the face looking at this thing?
Well, I got to tell you, it's something that the description and the fantastic rendition that Sibylla did here is right on track with so many descriptions that we hear. The whole Down syndrome looking, I think they're an offshoot of people. I really do. And I was watching a documentary today, and I did not realize that in 2021 in America that we mixed human stem cells with a chimpanzee embryo to make the first human ape hybrid. So it is, and folks, if you think this is the first time they've done this, you got your head in the sand. They've been doing this for years. So could this possibly be what we're looking at? Could this possibly be why so many people describe them as people? I think it's at least some of them, I think it's a very, very good possibility.
Well, I tell you what I'm going to do here once again, Tex. I'll pull that right up again. This to me kind of does look like it does have a lot of human element to this.
It does. It does.
And I remember back on the show we did several weeks ago, somebody suggested perhaps inbreeding amongst the population of Bigfoot. Because again, I think I've seen a lot of human looking renditions of Bigfoot.
Right.
But I think this is kind of unique looking. I've never, of course, I think Bigfoot are like human beings, right? We all have different races, nationalities. We all look different. And I think for the most part, all Bigfoot look different. And I don't think I've seen anything that quite resembles this one. And, and just to show people another Bigfoot rendition, this is by Sibylla, just to compare the human look. This one I also think looks human. And this was done by Sibylla.
Yeah. Yeah. That to me is more of the wild man type that people talk about. But like I said, I do think they're an offshoot of human. I don't, and a lot of people are dropping comments about this wasn't the first time that they did the human, and I agree, it's not. But this very well could possibly be a part of what we're seeing out there in the woods.
Mm-hmm. I will tell you this, compared to this drawing here, or rendition by Sibylla Irwin, everybody go check her out on her YouTube channel, is Sketching Encounters with Sibylla Irwin. That does look human. If you take, honestly, Tex, if you just get away, I mean, even the hair looks kind of like this guy looks like a Megadeth rock star or something.
Yeah, he could have been an 80s rocker. I mean,
he really could have. And then really quickly back to mine, and then we'll pan over to the demon that I always say. And this guy, albeit he looks human, he looks maybe more neat and a caveman type, right? I don't know. I just don't know. I have so many thoughts on this. But I'll show the side by sides in a minute. But I'm going to pull up now when I always say now it metamorphosized, when I let out that yell, that scream, the howl, where I got paralyzed, my girlfriend fell off the boat, and I saw black and white, and I just couldn't move with that sonic blast that was sent out. This is the thing that was screeching at me and Cindy.
Yeah. See, now my question is, Rob, when we see this, when you saw it, go back to the other one. Go back to the other one.
You know what I'm going to do for everybody? You see, I'm going to do the side by side. That way I don't have to keep toggling, because I also have the side by side, or at least I thought I did. Yeah, I do. Cool.
Okay. My work. I was reading it at the bottom. My question is, did you see did it bare its teeth at you before the face you say metamorphosized?
No, what happened is the one on the left was standing there with its arms on the side, and it was looking like that. The mouth was shut.
Yeah.
And then it's a few seconds later, it kind of leaned back. It extended its arms from the side, as you well know, paralleling the lake. Then it drops the mouth open, and the face kind of turned back taut like that, exposed the teeth. So again, this is what the one on the left, this is originally what I saw. Then it went back to let out that howl. And then all of a sudden, as soon as it's dropping his mouth, the entire face changed to this. And for everybody watching, you guys, this is 93 to 95% accurate. Outside of the fact that this is a rendition, I can never say 100% because, quite frankly, to see it in real time, in person, you still can't get 100%, right? But this is, before and after, Tex.
And I know you've always used the term demon,
right?
Now, given this thing's got teeth like an anglerfish, but is it possible with the what looks like the deformities, we'll call it that,
right,
of the one on the left? Is it possible that the teeth may have been like this too? They could have been deformed also, or they could have been just oversized and they sharpened themselves. That's
sure.
Again, that's a possibility, because we see cultures that do that. I don't think it necessarily was a demon. I think it was a Bigfoot, and it stayed a Bigfoot. But when when it opened its mouth and it not transformed, but because if you look at the face and the skin, that could be loose skin. And then when it angered or whatever and opened its mouth, it stretched it tight and gave it that smooth look. And like I said, I'm just playing devil's advocate here.
Well, no, right. Absolutely. Now, when I say demon, Tex, I've been saying demon since 2018.
Right, right.
Do I necessarily today, 2023, going into 20, say it's a demon now? I'm going to say no to that. But, when I've been telling the story the same way for so many years now, I just stick with my story.
Right.
But after 5 years, in retrospect, probably not. It's probably a Bigfoot or some sort of cryptid of some sort.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I personally think it's a Bigfoot. And if you throw into the mix the possibility, and I'm going to say the possibility because we do not know for sure, the possibility of them using infrasound.
Right.
Okay. The effects that took place after it screamed at you. Okay. She fell off the boat. You went black and white and froze. Those right there, those could be symptoms of both infrasound and shock. Okay. So probably both. If I was a betting man, I'd say probably because I do believe they have the ability of infrasound.
For sure.
I've been what they call zapped, and a lot of the symptoms mirror those of shock because I've been in shock too. So, but we hear that a lot talking about things going black and white. You even hear copper taste, you hear metal taste, you hear that all that kind of stuff when people talk about being in shock. So, now the wave that you talk about hitting the boat.
Yeah.
We know vibration affects everything.
Yes.
So could it have manipulated the water to, rock the boat enough for her to fall off? Absolutely, I think so.
Yeah.
So I think what we're seeing there with your encounter is a combination of things.
I do too.
I think it was definitely the infrasound and symptoms of shock. So, we got a special guest in chat. Ranger X is here. How could you possibly know anything about a demon's DNA profile? Which scientific journal or forensics magazine could I find this in? That's a good question. The thing about it is, and Jason says it all the time, he's 30 seconds away from throwing his hands up saying this is all paranormal walking off.
You're right, Jason.
We deal with so much out in the field that appears to be both paranormal and physical, that we're having a hard time researching it I'm gonna go out there on a limb, and I mean there's people out there, folks, they're gonna tell you they know the answers. Tell me how you know the answers. That's what I want to know. Tell me how you know. Just like Ranger X said, how can you know all this without a DNA profile?
Yeah.
That we're privy to. Come on, folks.
Right.
Are there DNA profiles out there? Absolutely, I believe there is. Are we privy to them? Absolutely.
No.
No.
Are there things? Do they have these things on a slab or in a cage and they're studying? Absolutely, I believe that's true. Are we privy to it? Absolutely not.
you've got so that kind of preludes onto this then when we're out in the forest. And again, everybody
I
listening,
agree, Ryan.
and again, everybody, I don't think what I saw was a demon. I always say demon because that was my first experience with anything like this, and that's what it appeared to be. Now, over the last 5 years, I'm thinking, yeah, it was a cryptid of some sort. Probably was a Bigfoot of some sort. But of course, I will always keep true to my original story because that's my original thought process.
Right.
And of course, throughout the years, it has changed with speaking with people. But it
Right.
does lead to this question. Do you think some of the things that we see in the forest, Tex, Brandi, aren't what we believe them to be, though? I mean, you might think you're seeing a Bigfoot. How do we really know it is an actual Bigfoot
Absolutely.
or dog man, right? We don't know, do we? Now,
No,
in some instances, we may, right? But
Mhm.
it's still totally up for debate with me on what it is because there are things out there that want to trick you. Brandi, about the tricksters, things
Yeah.
of the woods. If they know that a person is looking or researching a Bigfoot or dog man or whatever the cryptid may be, and if there are these malevolent forces out there that know and they want to play on your mind, how do we know they just don't shapeshift into something? Tex, you talking about it a lot down in Brown Springs.
Mhm.
hmm I think I'll tell you this, and I don't mean to jump in front of you, Brandy. I'm sorry, but it reminds me of something what Terry Arnold used to say, and it has been one of the biggest downfalls of this community that people are putting their beliefs and their opinions out there as fact.
Mhm.
You can't do that, folks. We can't do that in this field. You have to be able to say, this is what I observed at this particular time, and this is what I think. And that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Mhm.
But when you observe something, a behavior, we're talking Bigfoot here, when if you observe a behavior, let's go with that, or a look, or a physical appearance, whatever, and you try to throw a blanket term, well, they Bigfoot do this. Okay, well, they did that when you saw it. It doesn't mean they do it all over the world. Absolutely, Duke. Duke says scientists also put their opinion out there. Absolutely. And I think it's the same in any paranormal, cryptid, UFO field, whatever. But it's just we have the same problem. It muddies the water so much it makes it even harder for us as researchers, and because we are definitely experiencing other things out there that we don't know what they are. The first encounter that first sighting that Brandi had up there in Brown Springs, we both saw the same thing at the same time. We were hitting each other, going, "Do you see this? Do you see this?" And we watched this thing for a long time, as far as sightings go. But we don't know what it was. We have our opinion, our gut feelings of what it was, but we don't know for sure. I didn't walk up and, poke it in the
I wasn't
ribs.
gonna do it.
Right.
I was
You know,
gonna go, hey, excuse me, but can you tell me?
yeah.
I wasn't gonna do that.
and Tex, a lot of what you say is I agree with 100%. And I'm gonna switch over to Brandi really quick because we've known Brandi and Kristen now for probably a year now, and we know that they're paranormal, and now they are out in the field. They've been to the LBL. They've seen a possible Bigfoot in the woods, right? Just a couple of months ago or a month ago, perhaps it was Brandi.
Yeah,
And
it was in
now,
September. Yeah.
and I will go on record by saying Bigfoot's not a demon. I think they want to be left alone. That's my opinion. I don't think they're wreaking havoc on people. There are other cryptids that might have similar traits as Bigfoot, like Gugwe or or some of these other ones, or maybe a rogue Bigfoot has got a hair up his butt and wants to screw with you. I get all those things. So I'm not going to call Bigfoot a demon. I'm going to wipe that slate clean. I will always say my story the same, but I always give in that caveat. Today, BMR don't think it's a demon. What you saw, Brandi, certainly you did not get the vibe of demon.
No, I did not. Not the second time. I did not. The second time was based on what I saw, and I can only go based on what I saw. It was flesh and blood. But I've heard reports from people that I trust and admire, and they put a supernatural spin to it. And I have to believe them because they wouldn't lie to me. Why would they have to lie to me about it? So am I for sure if everything is flesh and blood out there? No, I can only tell you what I saw. Just like a certain Bigfoot group, when they take reports and things, they have a tendency to leave out the supernatural side of things, things that happen in the encounter, blah, blah, blah. They're just interested in the actual Bigfoot facts, but they're not interested in what's happening around it or what's going on with it. To me, it's all important to list everything in your reports, because how are we supposed to study something? I mean, we could be 20 years down the road and figure out they are supernatural, but it took us 20 more years because nobody was putting the stuff in their reports so we could read it. So, I mean, it's very important that, for me, is just tell it like you've seen it. That's it. I'm only giving my opinion because I can only go on what I saw. That's it. But I'm not saying that that's it for everybody. I would never go out there and say, well, what I'm saying is the absolute truth for all of it. I would never do that because you can't. Nobody knows for sure. Just like on your sighting there, Rob. I mean, I keep saying that we talk about, Bigfoot and how that looks like, perhaps interbreeding and all of that other kind of stuff. But if we give them the credit for being as smart as we think they are, that this wouldn't be a natural thing for them to do. Is it unheard of? No. Do humans do it? Absolutely. It's disgusting, but it does happen. I mean, it could happen in this, but again, this one, if we're thinking that they're based on humans or come from or have human DNA, they could have that extra chromosome and have that Down syndrome look.
Yeah.
But if you want to flip it to the woo side, a lot of reports that I read state that skinwalkers cannot replicate something entirely. They cannot do it. Something is always a little bit off.
Right.
That you could look at them and they look right, but there's something weird and you may not be able to put your finger on it. But I mean, in this case, you've got this Bigfoot standing there on the bank and it's looking a little weird, but as soon as it opens its mouth, it just looks like something god-awful monster. Right?
Yeah, I call that a monster.
Right. I would call that a monster, right? But maybe the skinwalker couldn't come close to replicating it is because it didn't know what it looked like when it screamed or did anything.
Yep.
So this is what it came out to look like to you. I mean, that's just on the woo side of it.
Yeah.
I mean, but
I
don't know.
And I will say this now, when I say that my Bigfoot was not a demon, I stand by that today now. But
Right.
I think with Bigfoot, there's a woo side because I've had just too many stories about the flesh and blood and the woo side, and I think it coexists between these cryptids or Sasquatch. You ask First Nations people; they believe it's a spiritual protector of the forest, not quite flesh and blood. But there are other sides to that coin where they think no, it's an animal of the forest. I did want to drop this, Ryan Tremblay. Ryan, I don't know if this is your new Let the Monsters In with Ryan Tremblay. I know you're revamping your show. I like what Ryan says too, though. I've said it before. We'll say it again. We just don't know. Not yet. we have 0 facts and 1,000 ideas. And Ryan, I do like that statement. I think that's pretty accurate. Some people will disagree. But
And
again, when somebody comes to me and says they have all the facts, then that's when I turn my head and I move on from that person. And that's just
right.
me.
And for me, I mean, you really can't say, no, that is incorrect. Nobody can. You cannot say that. There's no way you can say that, because I tell you what, you would be a billionaire at this point. If just to prove the existence and have all the answers, you would be a billionaire. We would be bowing down and all of that kind of good stuff, and trying to learn from anybody. You can't say that somebody out there knows everything, because it is too wide of an area to make a certain decision on this is the way it is and nothing else. You can't.
And what I'm going to do too, for everybody who hasn't seen this, I'm going to show like when it. Well, here's the Bigfoot that was first when he was standing there, right? Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
that's what he was doing. Tex standing, arms on his side, looking kind of docile.
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, and I'm like, and that's what I saw, the flowing hair. I'm like, wow, that's what I'm like, whoa. And then within a few seconds, I got this coming at me, right? And this when it roars at me. It almost looks like it has wings, for God's sakes, but I know it's not, with that long fringed hair. And if you look at this, it's kind of it's not even quite right. Let me just really quickly take down my little banner. And if you look at, okay, the body is very thick, nice, powerful chest and stomach, thicker thighs. But it caught me in this rendition again. We took a lot of time doing this. We took a couple months and hours, guys. If you look at the calves, sure, they have calf muscles, but that to me, should that not have been a little more stout? It's not, it's disproportionate from the body. So what I was thinking too, when it comes to the DNA aspect, maybe this was a mixed breed of some sort, right? Because that to me looks a little odd. How come the top of this thing is powerful, yet the bottom, although it has strength in the calves, it just doesn't add up to me as well. So that's another thing. No, it's a small thing, albeit, but does seem, just for me, just a little bit odd. I don't know what your thoughts is on that, Tex.
I'm going to go with, if we look at all the different characteristics that we're seeing here with this particular creature.
Yeah.
The odd looking teeth, the odd looking face, the odd looking build of the body. It could be a couple of things. It could be a product of inbreeding. It could be some kind of form of, I don't want to say dwarfism, but along those lines. Because we do see people that, have different body builds when they have like spina bifida and that type of thing. This could have been a birth defect, plain and simple.
And I will tell you this. Look at this by Sibylla. Now
That could be why it was by itself.
It could be. I talk with Duke quite a bit. Maybe perhaps it was a rogue, because Duke will say a rogue will be an a-hole because they're kicked out of their, I guess, their tribe or their clan,
right?
And then nobody wants them. So yeah, you come across them. They're overly aggressive. They maybe could hurt you, perhaps. Again, we don't hear many reports on that. So you saw here's another rendition by Sibylla, which to me is kind of more of like the true Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, but that face though looks more like something else, right? That's not I can't zoom in on that face, but that looks more, I guess I'm not in the apers camp, everybody, but looks a little more animal. We this looks kind of like, what the hell could that be? Is that really Bigfoot? I mean, because typically I think that don't look human at all, right? Compared to some of the other photos. Like here's the up close of this guy. I mean, look at that.
It looks more gorilla-like.
Yeah, don't it?
Yeah, it does.
Well, and that brings up a good point, a good segue, which we can talk about after the break.
Yeah.
Is again, the handprints that we pulled out of Brown Spring.
I didn't want to show that. Yeah, we can. And you know what, Tex? I'm kind of proud of you. Because
He was watching the time.
Yeah, I mean, you've been doing this for how long? I don't know. And you actually threw in the word segue coming up on break. Fantastic, Tex. See what a couple weeks off does?
I know. His brain's starting to click again.
You know, and maybe you lost a couple LBs as well. I mean, Tex, absolutely fantastic. I'm very proud of you this afternoon. I really am. With that being said, don't go nowhere. About 63 are in the chat room, 65 now in chat. We got to take 5 minutes out for our new podcast because we got to do a break for those now. Although we've been doing it all along. BMR, Tex, Brandi, back at 5.
nightmares in my head, I fear that the thoughts build up until I can't hear, that my mind fills up into a creature, and it haunts me somewhere much deeper.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome back to Brunch with Bigfoot, Michigan Rob. I, of course, am BMR. Thanks for everybody for coming on and joining Tex and Brandi today. I do appreciate that. For everybody who's bought my book, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob Presents True Cryptid Encounters Book 1, thank you for that. When Amazon comes a calling, leave a review. That helps out. That does help out. Don't forget the Alabama Bigfoot Conference, June 7th and 8th in Anniston, Alabama. Tickets now on sale. The links in all of our chats. And don't forget, thank you to No for the fabulous super chat. Thanks, No. The super chat's a great way to help support what we do around here. Thank you, No, for that a little bit earlier in the show. Don't forget, become a BMR pirate. You can join up. Pretty easy to do. Hit the join button. The Blondes and Booze, when you go over and watch them, subscribe to their channel. They have memberships available. And tonight, Tex is doing a special members only show. So join that because Tex is giving away about $50 in merchandise tonight. About 7 Central, 8 in the East. So get in on that. Some things from Gary Spikes Sr. that he made up and a couple other special things that Tex may or may not be doing. I don't want to put words in his mouth. But thanks for everybody. Subscribe to Texas Front Porch, the Blondes and the Booze Paranormal Podcast, Bigfoot to Michigan Rob, and my buddy I see out there, World Bigfoot Radio. Always subscribe to Duke. He's got lots of information for everybody that he disseminates every Sunday night. You can catch his live show. And again, with that being said, we're going to get back into Tex had a nice little segue to start the second half of the show. And I'm going to bring up from Tex, Mr. Tex, and of course, the beautiful Brandi. Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome. Sorry.
Yeah, Tex is
There's
busy.
no
Tex is always on the phone.
Yeah.
I'm actually making a thumbnail for tonight's show.
Very good. You can do that when we're off here. Okay. I mean, this is my time.
I thought I'd have it done in about 5 minutes. So
I know.
I didn't miss it by far.
I know that nothing takes 5 minutes for Tex, and that's understandable.
I didn't miss it by far. I just finished it up,
I know, Tex. I know. I'm just giving you some shit.
No, not you.
Not at all. I like the background. Oh, by the way, Tex has my book in the upper right-hand corner pasted. Thank you, Tex, for posting that on your in your studio office there. I like that.
Yeah, no problem. I love to promote you.
I do it every day for you, Tex. I really do. And yes, small Tex. There's small Tex, big old BMR and Tex. Yeah, I if you missed the earlier show, you have to watch the replay. I don't know if Tex can put it up. Here's what Tex did. Tex saw that, he cringed at the little Tex. So Tex, put up the new thumbnail you made. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, there we go. That's good old BMR and Tex down in Alabama. I don't know who the dude in the background is. But look at now.
I can't remember his name, but
he was a nice guy though. I remember. Yeah, he has some strange and creepy stories I'm disappointed.
He's got some great audio.
He got some great audio, and I never got his information to have him on the show, and I don't think you obviously did either. Hi, Lisa Smith. Get him. Yeah, I'll go get him, Lisa. Thank you. Thanks for joining. Thanks to everybody for coming on in. A lot of new people I noticed, and a fantastic show. So, Tex.
Sure.
We were going through, some of the different looks of these Bigfoot. Mine's certainly different. Sibylla has some great renditions. Then we finished up with one that looked kind of like an ape. And, of course, I'm not in the apers camp. Tex, I don't believe you are either. And Brandi, I'm sure, is not either. We think there's some sort of humanoid who have the human element to them. So why don't you continue on, and we'll get the second half started. Yeah, Glenn, that hat was bigger than me. That Tex, what was the name of that hat that I was wearing? Text it. Oh, that's one of the giveaways tonight.
No, that is. I saw somebody say text the texter because I was on my phone. This is a painting that Bob Van Buren bought me in 2020, at the Jefferson Bigfoot Conference. So anyway, what were you asking?
Well, first of all, thanks to Be Kind, she just gifted 5
Yeah,
Bigfoot
thank you so much.
pirate.
Nice.
Now we got 5 new pirates.
Arr,
Arr.
arr.
Yeah, so text it. So Bobby Van Buren, I made that up for. Okay.
Yeah.
No, my
And he'll
question.
He'll be back after the first year too. By the way.
Oh, Van Buren Variety, very nice. I'm sure he'll have another great show. Bob does do a good job with his shows. It's not cryptid, but he's got a lot of great guests, a lot of variety, true to the form, the name of the show. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Bob re-engage in the YouTube community. So shout out to Bob. So yeah, I know what the segue was. We're talking here's what we were showing. We were showing the couple of Sibylla's pictures here. And we were talking, I believe, about the different looks, the different ape looking Bigfoots versus the human. And we finished up with this to end the first part of the show. And again, to me, dude, that looks totally not human at all. It looks like some sort of beast. And here it is running down a pathway. Again, it's renditions by Sibylla Irwin. That looks terrifying, and that's to put it politely.
I'll say this: it looks more animalistic.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
How's that?
I couldn't agree more.
Which doesn't mean it is, though. Don't
Does
judge
not.
a book by its cover.
Yep.
You know?
No, not at all.
We were going. I mentioned the handprints when we pulled out of Brown Springs, and there were several characteristics of these handprints that led us to believe that they were not human. Thank you, Rob.
Yep.
And if you'll look at this one here, there's a couple of characteristics I can point out without zooming in. First off, we identified 3 sets of handprints, and Ranger X was in the chat. I don't know if he is now. He was there. Some handprints were on his truck. He had a cooler broken in his truck. There's a whole long story to this, and all this appeared within a 30-minute period at the bottom of the cemetery in the parking area when we were up on the hill. Now, all 3 sets of handprints. Now you see the angle. That's the bed. That's the edge of the bed of my truck at the fingertips. None of them were above that level, and they were all reaching up, which leads us to think that they were either crouching down or they were not tall enough and they were reaching up that far. All the handprints were smaller than any of the team members. We ruled that out real quick. And what was one of the odd things is even the handprints being smaller than ours, that we could not replicate the spread between and the angle between the forefinger and the thumb. It was not, and I'm going to say this, humanly possible.
Right.
We did have some handprint experts look at them up close. There are dermal ridges visible, very visible. And this particular print, this particular individual that left these prints, this set of prints, was muddy. Those prints are dirty. Those aren't dusted. Those are dirtier than my truck. And to leave smears and the depth of the prints and everything, it looks like it was wet and had the road dust on it, the caliche mud. And the the fingerprint experts that we had look at, both of them said the same thing. And one of them was, I talked to him online on a show, and he's a fingerprint specialist in law enforcement. And another one I talked to in Alabama months later. They both told me that I can't tell you what this is, but I can tell you they're not human. Because the fingerprints, the dermal ridges on the fingerprints do not swirl. They're horizontal. And which is a primate characterization or characteristic in their fingerprints. Now, if you look down at this, what in this picture looks like a smudge below the handprint, that's actually what we've determined is a forearm print. And unless I'm a hairy dude, but I'm not that hairy. That looks like somebody smeared a paintbrush against the side of my truck. And even further back, there's another picture, but I don't think you have it, Rob, of this same print. And there's an elbow print. And it's actually, you can see it looks like it had goosebumps. I mean, you can see the skin imprint with a little bit of hair. And if you think about it, no hair on the bottom side of the hands, a very hairy forearm, a little bit of hair on the elbow, but mostly skin. And there's a little something else that happened too. Ranger's truck was parked right next to mine. That print right there that we were looking at is off of my truck. Ranger had his tailgate down. They were my safety team. And when my phone went dead, I was doing a live show that night. When my phone went dead, they come up to find me. Took us about 30 minutes to hook up, chit-chat a little bit. Everything's fine, blah, 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 and come back down. When we came back down, we found all this. Ranger had a bear-proof Yeti cooler in the back of his truck. Tailgate was down. Cooler was locked, latched. When we came back down, it was not. There was water that had been looked like scooped out, ice and water. The ice was not melted yet. That was dribbled over the tailgate. On the top of his cab, there were two handprints on the top edge of his cab in the back of his truck with drips of water between them. Mm-hmm. What we determined was whatever that was, or whatever these things were, opened the cooler, scooped out some water, got a drink, jumped up in the back of the truck, two hands on the back of the cab, was watching them go up the trail. And just like when I scoop water and get a drink like this with my beard, it dribbles down right between the handprints. As far as I'm concerned, these prints are, I'm going to say, the best evidence that's ever came out of Brown Springs. Some of the best evidence that's ever came out of the field, period.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it up. I'm throwing up one. I mean, I got to put this up again because I got to tell you, I for sure would have to agree. And I know you made mention of this already as far as the thumb, can't match it up. But there's also the smudge beneath the forearm or part of that's hair there, right? That's a drag of hair, right?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this has the elements. You've got dermal ridges, you've got fingerprints, you've got certainly a hand, a forearm, and you also got hair. Right. And I got to tell you, that's certainly no bear. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Last time bears did not have human-like hands.
Right. You know, for people watching, they might say that. I doubt it. I mean, but yeah, I mean, it's just, that is really amazing, though.
You know, and it's I don't know. I mean, can we say it was Bigfoot? No,
Right.
because we did not see whatever made those prints. That is what they call circumstantial evidence. I saw prints. I saw footprints in the snow. I did not see something make the footprint, so that's circumstantial evidence.
Mm-hmm.
Do we believe it was? We believe it was 3 juvenile Bigfoot. That's what we believe. With as much activity as we have there has been what we believe was a juvenile Bigfoot. Well, Spilling Tea, and that's a good point, Spilling Tea. They say were gnomes, little people ruled out. How do you rule them out? Tell me how to rule them out. I'd love to do that. And I'm not saying that that's not a possibility.
I don't see how you could really rule out anything. As you just stated, you can't say that's Bigfoot.
No, you can't. I can't say it wasn't gnomes or little people. Cannot.
Right. But the fact being is we haven't found anything or evidence, should I say, anything leading to be that it was little people.
No.
Now, all the evidence that we've seen is pointing to a larger creature.
Yeah. There is a lot of activity down there that we know. There's been sightings of, I've had 2 daylight sightings. A lot of encounters, a few nighttime sightings. I haven't seen any what I would consider little people. The only 2 things that I know of that have been sighted or filmed that could be considered little people is when Josh and Leanne were down there with us, she saw something that she thought was about 4 feet tall, maybe a little smaller, off in the woods, poke its head around a tree type thing. Again, could have been a juvenile Bigfoot, could have been a little person. We don't know. Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'll say so quick. Another thing is what the paranormal. If y'all haven't seen their channel, it's Amy and Laney. They're a mother and daughter team, but her husband goes out with them also. He's their security, and they filmed something up in Brown Springs. Daylight. I don't know what that thing is. I call it the Jawa because that's what it reminds me of. Whatever this is, it materializes out of a tree. It's looks like a dark hooded figure with a small tail, turns around and walks off to the left. Mm-hmm. I don't know what it is. So is I've heard reports of little people out there, but I've never seen any evidence of it.
Yeah, and really briefly too, for those, I know a lot of people are talking about the little people in chat. Tex, I don't know if it was you, me, or me and Krista, but I had Robin Moonshadow on the show, which was a very popular show, in fact. And she's, since the age of 16, had little people encounters, and the Puck Wedgies. That was a great show, and Robin researches them, and she's got quite a bit of evidence, which we showed on the show, which just kind of blew my mind about these other cryptids or little inhumanoids or humanoids, whatever verbiage you want to use. And it always, and we're even talking about a lot of them run where you find a Bigfoot, a lot of encounters, the little people
Yeah.
aren't too far away either. Just like we hear about orbs and a Bigfoot appears, or UFO sighting, a Bigfoot appears. So with
Well,
what we're talking about, with all this phenomena, that's why I always say I think they're all linked together in some fashion. I believe that. Others perhaps don't, but it just seems like there's so many reports, stories, people we have on the shows. We're always bringing these things up, and you just can't ignore it. Like Tremblay, Ryan said earlier, we just don't know,
you're
do
killing
we?
me. Trembly.
Tremblay, Ryan
Yeah.
Tremblay. I say Tremblay.
Yeah, well,
It might be Tremblay. Well, he'll correct me, I'm sure. But right.
I barked at Rob, and I'll be the one that's wrong. Watch.
No, Tremblay. When I think Ryan Tremblay, I think hockey player. He's got that hockey player name to him. Tremblay. Tremblay with the hat trick.
So we're and spilling teas, like, to get off topic. There really is, the only topic here is cryptids tonight or today.
Yeah.
And I don't think we can discuss Bigfoot, and especially when we bring up these handprints and everything else, without bleeding over into the little people thing, the topic, because we don't know. I believe these for juvenile Bigfoot. That's just. But I've never had. I don't have that much experience with the little people.
Right.
So, I don't know that much about them. I know there's supposed to be a lot of different types, like anything else out there. We talk. Well, there's puckwedgies. There's nice ones. There's mean ones. There's mischievous ones. There's all kinds of things. And when we talk about when we're talking about cryptids in general, it's
Well, when you talk cryptids, all the topics blend together. It's all
Yeah.
to me, it's all the same umbrella. You can start with
Well-
Bigfoot and with little people or the
And
paranormal. It's just all it's all it's all to me on the same plane.
I got to tell you, here recently, I've been questioning all this stuff that we're calling cryptids, modern day cryptids, and Bigfoot and Dogman and blah blah blah, and this and puckwedgies and everything. Is what we're seeing and calling just a different name what people have been running into for thousands and thousands of years, and they call it the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm at. In fact, we're going to have Monica on again, and we're going to talk about the Fae. She's really into the Fae. So,
And then and again, and we had a guy on a long time ago, Ron. It could have been Ronald Murphy, a few others, but the elementals of the forest can be all kind of, because I believe that in the forest, to me the forest is the internet. How we have the internet today for all of us, our technology. To me, if you look at a forest, it's kind of laid out kind of like an internet. You've got the trees that their roots are they're all underneath. It's like a network. To me, the forest is just a big network that we could maybe, for lack of a better term, call the internet. Everything is there. Elementals are in the forest. These Fae, all these things can present themselves in certain fashions, or they run with these certain, as we call cryptids, right? And what is a cryptid? I was just watching something. There's a new lake monster in Lake Michigan that I was reading and watching this video on that they can't identify as anything. Is that a cryptid, or is that just some unidentified fish that's just never been discovered until now?
when it comes to Lake Michigan, there's no telling what it is.
You just don't know.
Any of the lakes, honestly, you don't know.
Any of the lakes, of course, you're talking about. I was just seeing a show. There's a lake in Alaska, Lake Ilawani, I think they called it. it's a huge lake, and it goes 1,000 feet deep. And there seems to be some serpent-like fish roaming over in Alaska. And I tell you what, everything's in Alaska.
Yeah. Alaska is like a very, very cold Australia. There's all
Everything can kill you.
everything can kill you, and everything's weird up there. There's all sorts of stuff,
Yeah. Because they keep talking about the Alaskan Triangle, and
Yeah.
you talk about planes going down and blah, blah, blah. I mean, what else is really in there?
And of course, I knew Duke would know the name of the lake. I'm going to post that really quick. Duke's like a walking encyclopedia. Look, yeah, Lake
It's
Iliamna.
like a walking something, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, Duke's my friend. So when I joke at him, I could just call him perhaps a walking cryptid. I don't know. There's nobody quite like Duke. I tell you that. Love you, buddy. Oh, never mind. I'll talk later. But yeah, but anything, and then Ryan Tremblay said anything unidentified, he classifies as a cryptid, and I guess that this is the definition of a cryptid, right? Anything unidentified, not known by man, just discovering something today. I guess it fits the bill.
I would call it that.
I'm going to pull up something here. Tex, I want your thoughts on, because again, you've been gone for so long, it seems. Everyone knows you had a dogman encounter. This is Joe Barger's encounter, the truck driver from Michigan, and what he saw. I don't know if you had a chance to see.
Is this the guy that shot it?
Yes, and this is Sybilla's rendition. Here it is.
Very typical.
How does that contrast to what you saw?
It's a little different. It's quite a bit different.
But again, just like Bigfoot, they're all different, right?
Right.
That's terrifying. If that was up against, it looked inside of his cab of his truck. So we're talking, something that was big.
Right.
And as far as being different, I'll do one more Sybilla's again, since this is all for the benefit of my buddy Tex. Here's another creepy one. This is a small one. She says about 5 or 6 foot tall, running down the road.
Yeah, see, again, different than what I saw.
And that was different than Joe's, right?
Yeah.
And then Bigfoot, this one, a human, a rock star, a Megadeth player, right?
Yeah.
And you got this one.
Yeah.
And then you've got, they're all, it's just, and then of course, my side by sides of mine, right? Look at these things.
But see, I think with both creatures, I think it would be, I'm going to call it arrogant to think that they all would look the same. Because look at the three of us sitting right here.
Yeah.
We could be considered 3 types of humans.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, 3 types of humans.
3 types of humans.
Well, we're 2 men and a woman.
No, but what I'm saying is the looks. What I'm saying. We look different.
Well, sure.
And if we had an African American and with Donnie Cho sitting here, and
right. Gotcha.
I think that's the same thing. Is what I'm saying. I don't think it's any different.
Yeah, even with us being, say, the same race, we're all the same race. We can all look differently.
Exactly. Look at dogs.
Yep.
How many different breeds of dog? We call them breeds. How many different breeds of dogs? How many different looks of dogs are there? But they're all canines. So, I just, I think label them different types is it's maybe not accurate. I've never really agreed with it, because it depends on how you're looking at type, So, and Roger, you're absolutely correct. Different personalities as well.
Oh,
And that's the example that I've always made is if you go back and say you're roaming around South America or someplace like that, you get down where all these tribes of people that haven't ever been contacted, and you're visiting. You're walking along, and you walk into one camp or one village. You're welcomed with open arms and treated almost as a god. You walk 5 miles down the beach. You walk into another village, and the next thing you know, you're dinner.
Right.
So that's it's. I don't think it's any different. I really don't, because why do they have to be why do we have to say they're a completely different type? And because that's a big word to me.
Yeah.
I just don't think it is. I just think they're just like different. It's like I just called him Rob a Yankee one ago.
Right. Right.
The difference if you just look at the lower 48, the differences between people from north, south, east, and west are pretty big. The cultural differences, hell, we from city to city, inner city, cultures are different. You take these big cities and there's different cultures in different parts of the city.
There's certainly different. I'm going to call them that. Yeah, they're different people, right, Tex?
Yeah.
Brandi?
Mm-hmm.
I could go into the affluent suburbs and I'm a mutt, right? The way they act, the way they carry, and even the way they look, all pompous, right? Then you go down southern Michigan where we're all kind of laid back and, I don't want to say hillbillies, but,
that's what people are proud to be hillbillies.
Yeah, I don't like using that term. People are offended by it. I'm certainly not. Hell, I'm not even from the South. I'm Polish and German and Ukrainian are my nationalities. Oh, Rob, you're just a hillbilly. You live in southern Michigan. Well, whatever. To each their own, man. I don't care.
I get called a redneck. Awesome. I am not a redneck.
Redneck, yeah, redneck.
Yeah, I don't see. And the thing about it is, people think, "Oh, you're in the South, you're a redneck." No, to me, I'm a country boy. Okay, that's it. I'm not a redneck.
Yeah,
a redneck. You don't want my opinion of a redneck. I don't like rednecks.
Yeah, well, yeah, we could go on and on about the different analogies. I like what Little Patty said.
But see, that's my point.
Yeah, Little Patty, really quickly. I never thought about this. Maybe there is a Bigfoot Dogman hybrid. Our thoughts. I will go out. Well, go ahead, Tex.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry. I keep interrupting people.
Quickly say Bigfoot Dogman hybrid. The answer to that to me is I don't know. The first thing that entered my mind was like when I think about dogs, a German Shepherd and a Poodle don't mate. I mean, they can't. They can't make. Maybe they mated, but I don't think they can DNA wise make a baby. You think okay, what about a cat and a dog?
Well, cat and a dog is two different species.
Well, so is maybe Dogman and Bigfoot, if we address your question.
Well, and I agree. But like I said, I keep interrupting people. I'm sorry.
No, man, the flow is fine. Tex. You're on top of your game today, Tex. Well, you always are, of course.
I mean, but you've always got the mystery of the horses, the horse and the mule and the mule and the mule and I don't know how all of that works, but one can't make the other. But yet and the donkey, throw the donkey in there. and the donkey, whatever you want to
Is
say.
a donkey and
But
a mule the same? Okay.
I don't think so. Chris is
No,
not
a
here. We
mule.
have to ask her. She's the
Yeah.
horse lady.
A mule. A
She's
mule.
the horse lady. I am horse nothing.
A mule is a cross between a donkey and a horse.
There you go. There it is. There it is. But a mule and a mule can't
Weird.
make another mule. It's very strange, but it happened. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is where the monkey wrench gets thrown in. I mean, we do know of animals who can do this, and
Yeah, well, Glenn says, and
that just is another 1,000 questions.
and mules are sterile. So, and I've heard that before. So yeah.
Right, exactly. This is what I'm saying. I mean, there is that thing of animals we do know. I mean, they can have, foals or whatever, and then they make sterile ones every time without fail. I don't know. It's all weird to me. I don't want to think it's making my brain hurt. I'm like, oh my God,
I know.
don't make me go down that road.
Well, this has been a great show. My brain's starting to hurt a little bit, and I got to thank everybody. We had a great turnout tonight in chat. Thanks for everybody for coming on in. Thanks to No for the super chat. Thanks to Be Kind for gifting 5 memberships. Speaking of memberships, before we move on, Tex has got a special show tonight. I believe Tex 7 Central, 8 in the East. Why don't you go ahead and tell our audience?
We're gonna. It's portraits only, and we're gonna do a giveaway. We're giving away a Bigfoot outdoor thermometer and a custom walking stick made by Gary Sr. So,
you know what, Tex? In the spirit of the holidays coming to the end, I'll join you if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
And while we raffle off, we're gonna raffle off a copy of my book. How's that sound?
Sounds fantastic.
Ooh, fantastic.
Yeah.
I will add that to the description.
Add it to the list, upper right-hand corner. Bigfoot Mystery represents True Cryptid Encounters. Book one found on Amazon, of course. Link is linked up top. But yeah, we'll raffle that off, and so that'd be cool. So I'll be there. And Brandi, tonight you have a show with the lovely Krista. What you guys got going on tonight?
We have Jay Bachochin on, and he is a Bigfoot investigator out of Wisconsin, and we're excited to talk to him. So this should be interesting. So everybody tune in for that tonight at 8 p.m. Central.
Awesome. And and for me, I'll be back the new year, Tuesday night. I'm doing something different Tuesday night. Well, not different. I've got Wayne Braden on next Tuesday night from Michigan UFO and Paranormal Research. He's seen some UFOs in the state of Michigan, so he'll be joining me Tuesday night along with Krista. So that'll be a great show. Thanks to everybody once again for joining. Please subscribe, Texas Front Porch, the Blondes and Booze Paranormal Podcast, and of course, Bigfoot to Michigan Rob. Ryan Trombley's got something new going on. Check out Ryan, check out Duke. And with that being said, I think again for the super chats and the memberships, and I just got to play my buddy Tex's role and look for the button. And of course it's not that one, but I got to give you guys a nice. That's me and Tex, my buddy from 2 years ago. But of course that's not the ending. But I wanted to show that. That's cool, Tex. We had a great time that night. I think we spent like 5
you asked me what that hat was called. It's called an Alamo hat.
Alamo hat, yeah. And I got to tell you guys, we spent a lot of money. We spent as much money that night as the Alamo could provide. Let me tell you, I'm still feeling the after effects. Thanks for joining. We'll see you later. Check out Tex tonight, 7 o'clock Central.